Welcome to the Hub. Again, we have a unique moment in time to deliberate, to talk, using social media and the radio to connect. My name is Kem Jones, and again, it is a pleasure for me to go on that journey with you where we can have a conversation, where we can reason together. I want to encourage those who are viewing me on Facebook and YouTube to please share the live. Sharing is caring. When you share the live, you give your friends the opportunity to view, to follow, to be a part of the conversation. And I will go ahead and share the live as a demonstration. All right? I will go ahead now and share the live so that as many people as possible can view, can hear, can be a part of the conversation. So let me at this point share the live. All right. I realize that I'm pretty much quite close up, so to speak, in the shot or the video. So let me make some adjustment. All right, that's important. Because I'm using my phone again tonight to do the program. Uh, Yesterday I had some problems with my computer system. All right, so that is still down. But with technology, we can still connect, we can still reach the audience using modern technology. So I want to start off tonight by saying we have a government that cares about people, a government who understands their mandate, the mandate to serve the people, to make sure that the living standard and condition of the people is improved or enhanced. Previously, meaning the last administration, their focus was on concrete projects, building something here, building something there, and saying to people they care. And they considered that as the it all. But this government, the NDC administration, is paying more attention to people, the development of people, enhancing the living standard and condition of people, which is fantastic because that has been missing in the last 20 or so years. This government sees people as integral in the transformation of the country. We saw only recently the rollout of the JUMP program, well, the second uh, rollout. It's considered to be the relaunch of the program. And I have been talking about that program because here you have a good example of how the private sector and the public sector can come together to improve the lives of our people, the living standard of our people. That's a very good example. Another very good example is the WASH program. So the JUMP program, the partnership between FLOW and the government of Grenada, and the WASH program, a partnership between corporate sponsors and also individuals and the government of Grenada coming together. That is good governance. That is a new style of governance, teaming up with the private sector to transform the lives of people. The JUMP program provides households without internet service. So for me, I am able to do this program with my phone because I have the device, but most importantly, I have access to internet. I have internet service. So with the internet service and with the device, I am able to connect with you. I am able to do the program. And you're able to hear me, you're able to see me because it's audio and video. So again, internet access with a device. So what Flow and the government did was provide internet service to households without and give them a device free. They don't have to pay for the laptop, and also train them to use the device. We have never seen such a thing in this country like that. And some people trivialize it. Some people see it as, normal or simple. We have not seen a private-public partnership where internet is being provided to households without, and a device, a laptop, is being provided with training for that household. So they are training the people who receiving that device, who receiving that internet connection, to use the device, to use the internet, to make it make sense. Simply put, to make the thing make sense. So this partnership is a very important one. 600 plus families benefited from that partnership when they launched the program, when they roll it out, and they identified 600, right? I wanted to say 500, but at that relaunch, we heard that 600 plus families benefited from such an initiative. Internet, a device, and the training. You have to kind of take your mind back to when COVID-19 struck or were affecting our people. The virus, COVID-19, the pandemic. There are a lot of students and the people generally, or households, without internet service, and as a result, the students couldn't access education. While classes were going on virtually, online, the students who were part of households without internet, without a gadget, without access, were not able to use the internet, were not able to go into the classroom virtually and learn. So they were disadvantaged. The government of Grenada, the NDC administration, this young, innovative team, decided they would embark upon a project that would see hundreds of households who never had internet service, who never had a gadget to access internet and who never received training in ICT. They now have a gadget, they have internet service, and they received training. So because it was successful, 600 plus families were able to benefit from this initiative. The government again relaunched the program where 800 families, and mind you, our beloved Prime Minister indicated that they were targeting far more than that. But 800 families will benefit from the Jump 2.0 relaunch or program, where they will be provided with internet, and all they have to pay is $20 per month. $20. Do you know how much I pay for internet service? $500. I have fiber. At Granditan, do you know how much I pay for internet service there? $500. So you're talking about $1,000 on a monthly basis that I have to pay to be able to do my program, to be able to make sure that the audience can get me with good quality. But they have to pay $20. All right? 20, which is fantastic, which is the lowest that anyone will pay for internet service. Because the issue is not about the money, it's about access, making sure that they have access to the internet. So Jump 2.0, or the relaunch of the program, or the second phase of the program, or the second rollout of the program, will provide 800 plus families with internet service. And mind you, they don't have internet service. They will be provided with internet service and a laptop, and they will receive training to use the device. This is a transformative program, initiative, project. It will transform that family. It will transform that home, the young people. They will be tech savvy. They will be, up to date, so to speak. This is a very good initiative. And remember, in a family, you may have 5 people, you may have 10. So you're looking at, on average, all right, you're looking at about 5,000 people being impacted directly. On average, it could be more, because if that family has 10 people, it's a family of 10. Or if it's a family of, if it's a family of 10 and it's 800 or 850, you're looking at 8,500 people. If it's a family of 5, on average, let's kind of say it's a family of 5, then you're looking at 4,500, or between 4,500 to 5,000 people being impacted positively. So this is a very good initiative. We need to hear more about it. So they relaunch it, they roll it out. We are not hearing the opposition talk about this. We're not hearing the media highlighting this or talking about it. The impact that this initiative would have on the simple people, the ordinary people. You might be in a position as a family to say, well, you have internet, you have different devices, you pay your bill, you know how to use the devices or the gadgets and that kind of thing. But that's you. But there are people in Grenada without internet service. And we need to acknowledge that. And thanks to this administration, thanks to the most honorable Deacon Mitchell, these families will have internet, a device, and training. And may I add Flow Grenada. So thanks to the government of Grenada and Flow for partnering and rolling out this initiative. I think I saw that a piece on GIS, I think. I think GIS, oh boy. I wanted to play that for you. I think GIS had that thing there. I wanted to play that for you, but I'm not able to get it. All right, but GIS had a video on it. All right, GIS had a video on it. Let me see. I may have to upload it. All right, so GIS had a video on it. Prime Minister spoke to it. Let me just add this. So bear with me for a moment so I can add it so you can kind of hear from him, hear from the man himself about the whole initiative, right? So GIS had this piece that they did where he spoke about it, because this program is a very important program, and I hope you appreciate it and understand it. You may not be a direct beneficiary, but the mere fact that your neighbor who didn't have internet service, the mere fact that a family member of yours who did not have internet service is getting internet service, getting a device, getting access, and the kids, because nowadays learning is online. Nowadays it's virtual. In fact, my daughter or my daughters, their class teacher would send stuff via the internet, assignments and other things like that for them to do, videos for them to watch. You have to have internet. So to be able to access materials, to be able to learn. So this ties nicely into the new trust, the smart learning, using technology to enhance learning. And thanks to this government that we are seeing this thing happening. We have not seen this under the NNP. The NNP, they've been there for a long time, 20-something years, but they never saw the need to innovate. They never saw the need to include this as part of rights. I would momentarily, I would have that to play for you as part of the moving forward or transformation. I'm really, really happy. I'm pleased about this initiative. I'm also pleased about the WASH program. These two programs I am pleased about because I know they're impacting the lives of ordinary people. They're helping simple people to improve, to move to the next level. And it's something that must be talked about more and more, right? So the JUMP program, that would impact almost 5,000 or more people, all right? It impact about 5,000 people. The WASH program, we know, is impacting thousands of people. It's a similar program where the NNP left thousands of people, 8,715 people, using pit latrines or open bathrooms and latrines. The NDC came into power and decided we will improve the living standard and conditions of our people by giving them a modern indoor bathroom and toilet facility. And yes, each one costs around $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. But the government is not looking at the money. Instead, they're looking at improving the living standards of our people. That is what the government is concerned about, not the $30,000, not the $40,000, because remember, they're painting that bathroom facility. They're doing the plumbing in that bathroom facility. They're doing the electrical work in that bathroom facility. They're tiling that bathroom facility. They're doing the sockaway and the tank, right? Or the, the tank. And they're also doing a little cupboard in there. They're also giving you a proper sink, toilet bowl with that tank there too. So they're doing a fantastic job bringing, and it's concreted. What I've seen so far, it is concreted, right? So I'm trying to upload this by taking a little time, a longer time. So I'm saying, folks, this is good. It's good for families. Families without internet service, getting internet service, getting a device, getting the training to use it. That's the JUMP program. 800 plus families. So that's 600 plus families and now 800 plus families. So you're looking at about 1,500 families being impacted. This program so far. Internet, access to the internet, a device and training. The WASH program, we have seen hundreds of families getting a bathroom and toilet, indoor bathroom and toilet, a modern bathroom and toilet. And look, I say to people, tell me what a party who the people elected to form the government, right? What is their role? What is their purpose? What are you looking for from that party to vote again for that party or to support again that party or that leader? Sometimes I ask that question because here you have a government or a party who formed the government, decided, look, there are too many people using pit latrines and open bathrooms. Yes, it's a massive project to undertake because you're talking about 8,715 or so people using pit latrines and open bathrooms. Some people, they don't own the land. So they have a house there and they don't own the land. So you have to get permission, it's a lot of work. But still, the government said, we are not concerned about the work that must go in to realize that objective. We are not concerned about the amount of toilets we have to build. But we're going to start. We're starting anyways. We're starting because we want to help our people. And they started the program, right? And if you go around and you speak to the beneficiaries, they will tell you that they were happy. The dignity came back. The humanity came back. Their pride and joy came back. Because there are people who will tell you, in the young days, the mother, father at home had a pit latrine and an open bathroom. And they were ashamed to bring people in their home. Their schoolmates, their friends, they would be ashamed to bring them there because if they want a number one or number two, that is what they have to use. And then many a times, those who have bathroom and toilet, indoor bathroom and toilet already in their home, and they come to your home, and that is what they experience or they have to use, to then go back in the classroom or go in the community and laugh at you, say all kinds of stuff about you, and you feel bad, right? You feel bad because they have and you don't. If rain falls heavily and you have to use that latrine pit because there would be a lot of water in it, it's tough. You have to use that and then bathe in the open bathroom, cold water. I mean, it's tough. What the government is doing is a good thing. The WASH program, providing a modern bathroom and toilet facility for hundreds of people. That's a big thing. That's a good thing. And that is what causing me to ask the question. Okay, you elect a party, they form the government. What is their role? What is their purpose? And if they are doing these good things, why change them? Why have all kind of bad things to say about them? You may not be the direct beneficiary of a modern bathroom and toilet facility as yet. You might be listening to me and you have a pit latrine still or an outdoor bathroom. Your turn will come. Or maybe you already have an indoor bathroom and toilet facility and maybe you're born in that. So you don't know about the pit latrines and open bathrooms. But I hope you can appreciate what the government is doing for these people. So just as the JUMP program, providing internet access, providing a device, providing training, that's a big thing. Same thing with the WASH program. People who know what it feels like to go by the neighbor outside the neighbor's house just to get a little internet. People who know what it feels like to go by a schoolmate because you don't have a computer home, you don't have internet access, and you have to do an SBA or you have to do some research. You could relate to these things. People who have to go to maybe a hotspot area or, somewhere in the community to get internet access. You would know what I'm talking about. Here, the government partnered with Flow to provide 800 plus families with internet access, a device, a laptop, and the training to use the device and to access the internet. This is a big thing. We need to be talking about this more. The WASH program also, it's a big thing, providing families with a modern indoor bathroom and toilet facility, painted, tiled, electricity done, having a little cupboard, having all the amenities. This is a government that cares about its people. You look at the free tuition again. You have almost 2,000 young people graduating from TAMCC and NULO every year. The government of Grenada decided to ease the burden from the backs of the parents. They don't have to hurt their head, right? Hurt their head to get that $810. They don't. Because the government is providing that for them. This is a big thing. If you're a parent who experience having to find that $810, put aside everything else because you want your child to go to college, get an education, get an associate's degree. You know what I'm talking about. Finding that $810 every year. And twice or 3 times, because your daughter or your son might be doing a 2-year course or 3 years. Do the math. You don't need to be a genius to understand this. So just as the JUMP program, just as the WASH program, the free tuition is doing a similar thing, helping families, helping the young people to access education, to access higher education. Same thing with the pension. The pension was paid. During the NNP time, they refused to pay the pension. The NNP refused to pay 500 plus pensioners their money. A lot of these pensioners, they died not receiving what was rightfully theirs, their pension, their gratuity. But you are talking about 500 families or 500 plus families that were impacted by this. So when the government, the NDC administration paid the 500 plus families their pension and gratuity, you're looking at 500 times 10 or 500 times 8. You're looking at a good 4,000 or 5,000 people positively impacted by the payment of the pension. And I'm bringing this to you so you could have a greater appreciation for what the NDC is doing for our people. So it's not just a piece of road being constructed, concrete road or concrete drain or some building being erected or built. It is more than that. You look at the Build Back Better homes. This is not a small feat. It costs a lot. In fact, I was in a vehicle and the gentleman said, well, Kim, the government building some nice houses. Boy. He looked at one in Old Fort. Because, you know, wooden houses, if you build it neat, you take your time and you do it properly, it stands out. The Build Back Better houses, however, it's concrete plus wood. So he said to me, he traveled Dabo area, Mount Rush, Dabo area. And he saw a Build Back Better house there. And he was like, that's free. Because he knows that it costs money. It's not cheap. It costs money. And as a result, taxpayers are footing the bill, but also seeing the benefits of that. And that is what is important. That's very, very important. Seeing families happier, receiving a Build Back Better house, and it's painted properly, the electrical work is done, the plumbing work is done, and quite a number of other things. The bathroom properly done. Then you have a little veranda or step. I mean, the government is investing in people. And we need to be happy about that, investing in families. And not just the Build Back Better homes, but you have other homes that are being constructed for people who can't afford. Those who are in need. That is a government that cares. And that's why I ask people, what do you vote for? What? So Peter David, for example, he says he's launching some party. All right? NNP, they have their party. And we can go on and on and on. Right? What do you vote for as a registered voter? What do you want to see? So the government, they're fixing roads, they're fixing schools, they're building new schools, they're fixing police stations, they're fixing medical stations, they're improving, the infrastructure generally, right? They're doing that. Playing fields, community centers, they're doing all those stuff. But they're going further, investing in people, improving the lives and living standard of people. All right? What more do you want? That's my question. What more are you looking for? Because here you have a government who is actually rolling out certain things, programs, initiatives that are positively impacting the lives of our people, transforming our people. You look at the school feeding program or the free hot meal program. 13,000 students are fed every day by this particular program. 13,000. The parents don't have to pay. The government of Grenada pays for that. 13,000. Just as the free tuition policy or program. I'm saying this government cares about people. The NDC came into power. Small and medium-sized businesses were under, fighting to stay afloat. Coming out of COVID-19, it was tough for the small and medium-sized businesses. What the government did, they say, we will help you. Everybody can't get, but we will help you to bounce back. 500 plus families again were impacted because 500 plus small and medium-sized businesses benefited from the CES grant of up to $30,000. That's not just an individual. We are talking about 500 families, 500 plus families. I know a gentleman who operates at the Grandance Craft and Spice Market, close to the Catholic Church in Grandance. He benefited from the CES grant. He has a wife and he has children. So that family was impacted. He was able to employ another person. That person and their family were impacted positively too. So you have to look at the broader picture, the broader impact of those programs and initiatives and things that this government continues to do. You look at the land regularization. During the NNP time, they never saw providing people on crown lands with a plan and a deed. Because many of these people, they paid for their land because the government gave them a price. They surveyed the land and they give them a little booklet, which says that this is the size of the land, this is the amount you have to pay for the land. But when they complete paying for it, they were not getting the plan and the deed, the official plan and the official deed for the property. But they finished paid. So they can't go to the bank, they cannot go to the credit union, they cannot use it as collateral. They cannot use it as an asset that they own, that they have to get a loan or anything, although they finish pay for the land. So you have hundreds and hundreds of people who live on crown lands, who finish paying for it, but they were not getting the deed and the plan. The NNP never saw it as important. The NDC came into power and said, no, here is a good opportunity to create generational wealth. Because if that mother or father gets that deed and plan, they would pass it on to somebody in the family. They would will it to somebody. But if they don't have the deed and the plan, even if they finish pay, they cannot will anything to anybody. You understand the big picture here? So the government of Grenada, the NDC administration, continues to regularize people who are on crown land and give them their plan and their deed. And I think they're doing it in 3 or 4 phases. The people who finished pay, they targeted them first. The people who started paying, then thereafter. And then they go down the line, those who are on the land and did not pay or have no documentation, that kind of stuff, over a period of time, then they provide them with that. But do you know thousands of people will be impacted by this? And we can go even further, thousands of people, because families are benefiting. You're talking about hundreds of families benefiting from this initiative. So thousands of people will be positively impacted by this initiative. Some people don't understand the impact that this thing would have on the next how many generations. Yes, it will impact the people now, but it will pass the thing on. So this is very, very important. The NDC cares about families. The NDC cares about people. Some people just brush this thing aside. This is important. The unestablished workers, 4,000 plus unestablished workers in the government. Under the NNP, they were just hiring people on contracts. And if you are in the public service, you'll be acting and acting and acting. So you'll be acting in a position, but that's not your substantive position. They're not making you permanent. The NDC came into power and they made it clear there are too many people who are retiring and going back home into poverty. Back into poverty. Even if they work all their life or work for 40 years, right? 40 years of working, 38 years of working. So for example, Tafawa Pierre, Emlyn Pierre husband, if the NDC, right, for example, didn't roll out the pension payments and the gratuity and so on, this guy could have been disenfranchised and not get what is due to him, his pension and his gratuity. But on the other side of this, you have folks who are working in government and they are considered to be unestablished. And they were going home after retirement with no pension coming to them. So while they are working, they're collecting a salary. So let us suppose they're collecting $1,800 every month. That's a salary. But they're not permanent, so they cannot get a loan. They cannot go to the credit union. They cannot go to the bank and get a loan to get money to buy a piece of land or to build a house or to do anything, buy a car or anything like that. They are not permanent. unless there's unsecured loan that the credit union is given. But generally speaking, there's a lot of conditions attached to these things. So you have to be permanent. So they're stuck even if they're working. They would fight up, go buy parcel, or go buy some other lumber yard or hardware and pay them something. They give them some materials, and they fight to make it. They build a house or something like that, or they might be rented. That is the situation that they face, or they were in for a long time. But the NDC decided we need to give these people a pension upon retirement, and we need to regularize them. We need to make them permanent. Everybody can't get permanent one time. They're not going to make everybody permanent one time. It's matriculative. It's step by step by step. They've categorized it. They put in categories and so on. All right? But the mere fact that they're making you permanent says a lot. And the mere fact that they roll out this new pension where you contribute 3% and they contribute 3%. And when you retire, you get a decent pension. So you might be working for $1,800 now. They were retiring without getting a cent every month. So yes, while they're working, they're getting $800, but when they retire, they were not getting a cent from government, the employer. So the government of Grenada, the NDC administration, set up this new pension for 4,000 plus workers. And it might be even more because it takes in statutory bodies and so on who don't have a pension plan and that kind of thing. You're talking about 4,000 plus families being impacted by this positively. That has to be a government that cares about people. You don't need to be a genius to understand that. And then you have those who are being made permanent. So if they make you permanent, you can go to the bank, the credit union, and you can get a loan to buy a piece of land, to build a house, to better yourself. And you may not be the beneficiary, or you may not live to enjoy it all, pay out for your loan, pay out for your house, pay out for your land, but your children and children will enjoy it. So you have to think down the road. Because if you work for 30 years and you're able, because most of the loans, they are 30-year loan. Right? 30 years, most of them, for house and land and that kind of thing. So you work for 30 years, you pay out for your house or you pay out for your land. You're now able to pass that on to your family, creating generational wealth. So a lot of people underestimate the impact of these initiatives. They just trivialize it, see it as just a normal thing. But the NNP never did that for you. The NNP couldn't think outside the box. They never had vision. Nothing new, nothing innovative. And mind you, the NNP said that this thing couldn't be done. And they said that the government is doing illegal this and illegal and it's wrong, and the unions join in with the nonsense. I remember them. But today, the folks are enjoying it because they know once they're retired, they will get a pension from the employer, and they will get a pension or a little kakada from the NIS. So they're happier now that they're working with the assurance that that will come when they retire. And a lot of them are being made permanent. There were teachers who were acting or temporary, 300 plus teachers have been made permanent. And I'm calling on the government. I am calling on DPA, but specifically the NDC politicians. You need to get and give a constant update on the amount of people who have been made permanent, the amount of teachers, the amount of nurses, the amount of public officers generally who are made permanent under this government, just as we got the statistics for teachers before school reopened. We should get the statistics for all the categories of workers and put it on the damn table. That's politics. It is important to do so. Statistics, put it on the table. I remember asking a good pal for a list of, well, not a good pal, my good partner, David Andrew. I remember asking him, calling him and say, hey, David, I need a list of the amount of scholarships given to date under the NDC administration. My good partner, I still waiting. But the politics dictates that you put the data out there, how many young people received scholarships from the NDC administration to date for the last 3 years and months, and how much did it cost government? That is important, so the public will appreciate that this government cares about the people, the young people, and continue to invest in their education. So I'm saying, folks, it is important to put the data out there and do so boldly so that people will appreciate what this government is doing. Some people don't understand the work that this government is putting down and how they're impacting lives, transforming lives, transforming people. So you just have to look at these things. Look at the amount of laptops given out to students in Forms 1 and Forms 2. 3,700 plus. Look at me. I'm able to tell you these things because I record it on my mental sheet, and I'm able to recite it, and because I heard the minister said so, I heard the government announce so. 3,785 or so laptops given out to students in Forms 1 and Forms 2. That's statistics. You're talking about 3,700 plus families being impacted by this. The young people able to use those laptops and, do their work and learn. That's important. It highlights, our government push to improve learning and education, access to education for people. We also need to know how many farmers were impacted by the farm labor program. Remember, the farm labor program changed a bit where they are not sending workers on the farms or the garden or the land to work for the farmer. Instead, they're saying to the farmer, you know the people who work for you, we will pay them. Because, plants in itself, plants generally, they get accustomed to hands. If you have too many people come in and touch your plants and so on, it could die, it could mess up. All right? So the farmer might be accustomed to 2 or 3 people come in and plow, or as we see, fork, come in and prune, come in and trim, come in and cut the bush, that kind of thing. Mulch, whatever. They're accustomed to these people. So what the government decided to do is to say, you get your workers, we will pay them to work for you. We would love to know how many farmers benefited from the farm labor program. How many farmers benefited from the payout, the burial support payout of $4,500 or the $9,000? Categorize them. How many? Because that's families. Families are being impacted. You need to let people know. The brisk, I heard how many families were impacted, boy? I wrote that thing down, you know. Yeah. 869. 869 families, right, were impacted by brisk, this burial support program, giving them some money, I think over a 6-month period. 869 families, you know, $3.6 million was spent on this. I heard the Honorable Gloria Thomas spoke about it in the town hall meeting. This must be properly documented and spoken about over and over. When Ivan and Emily passed, we didn't see that coming from the NNP. The NNP never did that for our people. No. So we need to know these things. Farmers are receiving fertilizer on concessionary rates. We need to know. You need to publish it because this government cares about people. You had fishers, boat owners and so on, who got support after Hurricane Beryl. We need to also know that. That's politics. This government cares about people, the pay and grade, the police officers. Only today, I was talking to a police officer, you know, in the midst of a couple other people. And he said to me, he said, people need to know the impact that pay and grade is having on police officers. And he said, the police officers who fought for the pay and grade, they're not enjoying it. Many of them died. Many of them exited. They retired from the police service. They're not benefiting from that pay and grade. But they fought for betterment for police officers. And today, those police officers who are benefiting from it, I hope they appreciate it. That is what he said. He hoped they appreciate it because a lot of police officers fought for this and the NNP refused to give them the pay and grade. The $700 or $800 more on their salary to bring them up to the scale of the nurses and the teachers and so on. That's something that must be talked about. So the police officer was saying this $700, $800 is making a significant impact on police officers and their families because they now can take that money and buy groceries. They can take that money, spend it towards their kids' education, take that money to pay a bill or two. Because if they didn't have that, they had to take from the money that they were receiving before, their salary that they were receiving before, which was $700 or $800 less than what they're receiving today. But you're talking about 1,000+ police officers benefiting from this. Benefiting from this. This is no joke. This is no joke, people. Just think about it. A police officer getting $700 to $800 more because of the pay and grade. The NNP refused to do that, to give these people. The NNP refused to give them the pay and grade, you know. The NDC gave them. The nurses, for example, $500 more on their salary. The doctors, $1,000 more on their salary. This is no joke. And we need to articulate these things. You see, politics is not about you going and read some script or some long, old, drawn-out stupidness. You hear me? Politics is talking points. It doesn't have to be long and boring. You go on a damn stage in a rally and it's as though you preaching for an hour. You know, like you're going some full gospel church for a funeral, and because they're not accustomed with this big crowd, and the pastor go off on a tangent, speaking long, preaching long. I mean, you go to a Catholic church, to a funeral, you know it's an hour or so, it's kind of fixed. Anglican, same thing, but you go to those full gospel churches, and because they see the crowd, they preach for 2 hours. Some of those politicians who don't understand politics, they go on a stage and they bore the audience, talking points, straight to the point. This is the amount of families who benefited from this. This is the amount of this. This is the amount of program. This is what we did. This is simple things. It doesn't have to be drawn out and boring and long. That is what you have to learn. And you have to saturate the minds of the people with that stuff over and over again. Today I was speaking to a young man. He said he was able to just get his upgrade for his license. Thanks to the NDC. You didn't have to go back, spend more money, go and do exam again, right? No. We need to know how many people benefited from such an initiative. How many people went in and upgraded their license from the time the NDC announced that program, that initiative. We need to know. The passport upgrade to 10 years. I spoke to 2 people sometime last week, and they said they were able to go and upgrade their passport, get their passport to the 10 years. And they're happy about it, and they didn't pay much. So you go to the Canada embassy for a visa, they give you 10 years. You go to the US embassy, 10 years. So your passport would work for the lifetime of that visa. Instead of you have to, glue 2 passports together, and you understand the point. You speak to people who are positively impacted by this. We need to know how many people benefited from this initiative. Statistics. That is important. The Honorable Andy Williams came out and he was talking about how many people with pit latrines and open bathrooms and so on. And I remember from that time he said so, that is 8,715 people who still using pit latrines in Grenada. The NNP left that as a legacy. So statistics, people going to remember these things. Simple and straight to the point. So I want to encourage them to do so. All right? But the NDC cares about people. And we are seeing that every single day. The NDC cares about the development of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique, but also the human resource development, people's development. And we have to break the thing down. Simple. It doesn't have to be complicated, right? Simple. This is what you have done. Pap, 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 pap. That is what people want to see. All right? That is important. So I want to wish you all, who is this person here? Let me just delete that person here. Who's under the live, block that person now. Right, so I'm going to block you here. Block user. All right. Block user and restream. Okay. So I block list. Good. Nice. So that person was blocked. All right, because I don't have space for certain people under the live. All right, so that person will put that comment there. Blocked. Easy like that. Okay, see, a lot of NNP supporters, they come under the live, but even if I speak about all of these good things, it passes in this airs and it goes out in the other. All right? Because to them, all they do is support their party, those NNP, just their party. But the minute they comment under the live, because I don't have tolerance for stupidity, I don't have tolerance for illiteracy, I don't have tolerance for backwardness and arrogance and lunacy. I don't have time for that. I'm about development. I'm about growth. I'm about making people more educated and empowered. That's me. So folks, I want to wish you all the best. It's 9:05. I continue to use my phone, because my computer but just burn, man. The desktop just pop. And I need to get a new one. But in the meanwhile, we have to find ways and means to get the message out. I want to thank Kim the King for streaming or taking the feed from Facebook or YouTube and getting it on the radio. Because normally if I'm on my computer, it's automatic. Once I come on, the stream comes on and straight on the radio. This time around, he has to take it from the feed, from online. So folks, I want to wish you all the best. Have a wonderful night. I will be back with you again tomorrow morning, God's willing. And I want to encourage those who pledge finances towards the program, right, to pay the bills and to keep things going. Please honor that commitment. There are folks who will pledge, and it will take a very, very long time for them to fulfill that pledge. A very long time. And by the time it comes in, all the bills that due, it's like, so if you pledge, try to honor the pledge so we can meet our commitments, we can pay our bills. Today is what? The 10th? We're going towards the middle of the month already, and there are quite a number of people who pledge to keep the program going, and they have not fulfilled that as yet. And I know it goes. And then, in those who pledge, we're still not there financially yet to meet the bills and the commitments. We're still short about what? $1,870. Still short that amount. So I have not done a pledge live, but I'm looking to see for this week if the folks who pledge to keep the program going, if they're going to fulfill that and where we're at. And then I may have to do the pledge. But if you're there and you feel the need to give to the program, you can WhatsApp me, you can call me, you can, give to the program financially. So if you're overseas, MoneyGram, Western Union, Zelle, I can provide you with that kind of information because we need to pay the bills to keep things going. That is important. Very, very important, right? So if you pledge already, try to fulfill that. If you're there and you feel the urge, the need to give a little to keep it going, you can do that because it's important, right? Send me a WhatsApp message. You know my numbers, 1473-415-4817 or 403-1019 or the number that's scrolling on the program here, 1473-538-0933. All right, so it's so important to do so. All right, but we have to continue the mission. We have to continue doing the work. It's not easy, but we have to do it, cost it what it may. So I want to encourage you to do just that. All right, so have a wonderful night. Take good care and bye for now. I'll be back with you again tomorrow morning, starting from 8 in the a.m. There's a number of people who send me ads and so on to promote, but once I'm using this device, I'm not able to promote the ads the way I should. If I'm on the computer, no problem, but I'm using the phone for now. Take good care and bye for now.